Hello and welcome to a cook along with me, Freeman Fitness. Today we're going to be making a creamy barbecue chicken pasta. So in this video I'm going to take you through step by step how I make this meal. You guys are going to be able to cook along with me every step of the way. It's going to be a good video and I'm going to teach you guys a lot. If this video ends up helping you out, make sure you leave a like on the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers at the end of the year. We've got a long way to go, but every subscriber does help. So let's get into making this meal. Okay, so we're in the kitchen and the first thing you need to do before you cook any meal, whether it be meal prep or just a dinner or anything, is you need to get your ingredients ready. You need to be chopping your onions, your peppers, all of your veg, stuff like that. You need to be getting out your sauces, your seasonings, etc. You need to be weighing out your pasta, having it ready so you can pour it straight into the pan when it's time. And you need to be seasoning and oiling your chicken, getting it ready to go. The reason why you want to get all of this stuff ready first is because the worst thing that could happen is you get halfway through your meal, you think, okay, I need to start putting my pasta in now, for example, and you're like, oh, where's my pasta? It needs to go in now. You haven't even got it out of the cupboard yet. You haven't even weighed it yet. Maybe your oil's ready, your pan's starting to burn. You need to put in some sweet peppers. You know, you've cooked your onions for a long time now. You're ready to get the peppers in and you think, oh, it's still whole on the counter. Haven't even chopped it yet. You don't have time to be chopping and weighing stuff when you start cooking. So get it all ready first. I'm going to show you me doing that right now. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is prepare my chicken thighs. So normally I either go with either chicken breast or chicken thighs. Today I wanted to switch things up. I find chicken thighs, they taste nicer, they're juicier, but they do come at the expense of being a little bit more calorific. And we're going to be cooking these in the oven. I always like to cook my chicken either in the oven or in the air fryer. I do have an air fryer as well. You choose whichever one is better for you. But I do like them in the oven. I find that they come out really succulent, really juicy, and I'm going to show you how exactly you can get your chicken looking like that. So let's get these thighs out, let's get them into our cooking dish, and then let's get them seasoned. So you're going to find that with chicken thighs they've got a little bit more fat on them. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that from there, but they're a little bit more fatty. These ones have the skin on, that's absolutely fine. I mean, once you actually get them out of the oven, they won't look like they do now. They might look a little bit unappetizing, but trust me, once they're nice and seasoned and cooked, they're going to look just fine. The reason why I'm doing the chicken thighs first and getting them in the oven before I start the sauce is because they take about 25 minutes to cook, and in the time that it takes to cook your chicken thighs, you can cook your pasta, you can get your sauce up to the boil and ready to go, and it just means that everything is ready at the same time, which is what you want. Oh, that's really cold. Ow. I've got a washing up bowl here as well. Been doing a little bit of washing up, getting ready to make this meal. And I'm probably going to wash up as I go as well. So I'll probably only wash the chicken stuff in here, and then I'll get like a new bowl for the rest of the stuff. But the chicken thighs are now in the bowl and they're ready to be seasoned. So I'm just going to put the chicken over here to go in the bin, and then we're going to get to seasoning. So I'm going to start off by seasoning it with some mild and smoky barbecue seasoning. There it is. I've not got that much of that left, but we're going to put that in, see how much is actually there, and then we'll see if we need to add any more, because I do have a Schwartz classic barbecue one as well, so we'll see. Let's have a look. A lot of cooking is trial and error, you know? You'll get a recipe and it'll say use this amount of this and that amount of that, but when you've been cooking for a while, you just kind of chuck stuff in and hope for the best. I feel like I've got enough barbecue there, so I'm going to leave it at that. Now we're going to go for some smoked paprika next. Again, I've not got loads of this left, so I'm just going to chuck it on and we're going to see how it looks. And the reason why I wanted to make this video as well is because I always see these recipes online, on TikTok, on Instagram, so on and so forth. Well, I really didn't have a lot of paprika there. I'm going to put some more like normal paprika on, I think. Or do we have smoked? Nope, I'm gonna put on some normal paprika. Yeah, so I always see these TikTok videos, these Instagram videos, like a minute long, trying to show you how to make a meal. And they're really hard to follow, you know? You try and follow along to like an Instagram video and you can't even pause it. You have to try and like screen record it, and then you go into your camera roll, you watch it there, you pause it. But sometimes you just want to cook along with someone, you know? It goes too quick. By the time you play it again, you've forgotten what on earth you're doing. So hopefully this is going to be a fun video to just watch along with, and you guys can cook this tasty chicken pasta with me. Alright, next thing we're going to go in with is some mixed herbs. If I can actually show you it properly, there we go. Got some Schwartz mixed herbs. Now this is, I mean, if you want to save money, you're better off buying mixed herbs rather than buying, you know, oregano and basil and bay leaves and whatever's in here. I mean, in this one you've got marjoram, basil, oregano and thyme. So if you to buy those 4 separate herbs, it's going to cost you a lot more than just buying one little bottle of these. So I'm going to go with that. That's a little money saving tip for you guys. Buy the mixed herbs seasoning rather than buying them all individually, and you'll save yourself a bit of cash. And then finally we're going to go for some olive oil. I've got some olive oil spray. I find this stuff is quite good because it's still olive oil. Let me just concentrate on how many I'm going to put here. I'm going to put about 20 sprays on. So I'm making this for 3 portions. Normally I'd make 4, but I'm doing this for 3 because I've not got that many days a week that I need to have these for. It's a bit of a weird one, it's just after the bank holiday, so we're just going to go for 3 portions. The reason why I like the spray oil, it's not the same as Fry Light, so you could get yourself some Fry Light, it'd be a little bit less calories. You know, 20 sprays of that is like 20 calories. 20 sprays of that is like 60, but it's still not as much as if you were to have like a whole tablespoon of olive oil. It just kind of portions it out a bit better, so I like to use that. It's going to make the chicken more moist, but now you've got to get your hand in there, you've got to give it a good mix, and don't be afraid of the chicken, you know what I mean? Some people, they look at the chicken, they're like, oh, I don't want to touch that. Just get your hands in, it'll be fine, trust me. Get your hands in there, you know, all you've got to do is just touch it, get the seasoning nice and rubbed in. Some people will season both sides, but I find if you just keep like tossing and turning it, some of the seasoning kind of falls off of the top of the thigh or the breast or whatever meat you're using to cook, and it kind of falls onto the bottom. So you do end up actually getting some seasoning on the bottom anyway when you're just flipping it around and sort of like rubbing the bottom half into the bowl or the dish or whatever it is you're cooking it in. There we go. So they're going to start looking nice and seasoned. They're going to be nice and like golden, looking very tasty. Obviously you're not going to eat it raw, but you know what I mean. They look quite good when they're nice and seasoned. And as long as you've got like decent seasoning on the top, even if there's not like loads of seasoning on the bottom, it's going to be fine. And then just make sure you kind of spread those thighs out, or chicken breast, whichever you've decided to cook with. Spread them out as much as you can in the pan, and then they're going to go in the oven for 25 minutes. So always look on the back of the pack of chicken thighs I had on the back of it tells you how long to cook them for in the oven. Just go with that, don't do any more or any less, just get them in the oven. And then the pasta takes like 12 minutes, and then the sauce will probably take like not even that, because all you're doing really is you're going to heat up the veg. It will take like a few minutes, then you're going to pop the sauce in, and that's going to take like a few minutes again to heat up. So yeah, doing the pasta and doing the sauce doesn't take even like half as long as doing the chicken breast. So what we'll do is we'll put these in the oven now. If you have tin foil, that's another top tip. Obviously they're okay like this as they are, but if you want to lock in that moisture and you have tin foil, unfortunately we don't have any of that left, but if you have that, put it over the top of your baking dish and it'll lock in that moisture, makes them that little bit more juicy. So we'll pop these in the oven and then we'll get to chopping some veg. Right, so I'm going to be like roughly timing it on the microwave as well. It's currently 12:40, so they'll be done at what, 5 minutes past 1 in 25 minutes. So I'm going to use the microwave to time it. You know, maybe if I wasn't filming, I'd just use my phone and I'd say, hey, whatever your Alexa type device is, set a timer for 25 minutes. You guys can do that as well. But yeah, if you have a microwave or some type of clock in your kitchen, you can use that too. Right, so I appreciate this camera angle isn't the best, but we're going to run with it anyway. We've got 3 different types of veg we're going to use. We're going to use some red onion. I personally prefer a red onion over a brown. I find that they taste a little bit nicer. We've got, whoa, we've got a pepper. That could have been bad. We've got a pepper, it's an orange one. Personally, I find that the reds taste better, but to be honest, I don't taste much of a difference. So whatever colour pepper you got, just use that. And then hiding back here, we're going to be using some baby spinach as well. It wilts down, it's going to be nowhere near the size that you see it right now. It adds extra health, it's got a lot of vitamin A in it, and spinach is just a good thing to add. Doesn't really taste of anything, but it gives you some extra nutrients. So let's get chopping. I mean, you can see this thing that we got right here, and you're probably wondering what the hell is that. It's just some vegetable chopper that I got off of TikTok. It's actually really good. I'll show you it in action in a moment. We'll do the pepper first. So all I'm going to do with the pepper, if I can maybe show you a little bit better. Again, my chopper is trying to attack me. Don't worry guys, I'm alright. You're just going to want to chop the top of the pepper off like that. Then chop the bottom off. And obviously if you don't have a vegetable chopper, you're going to go along and like dice it up. I prefer to have my vegetables diced. Some people will just slice them and they have like big bits of vegetables in their dinner. But I prefer it nice and small. But yeah, I mean, if you do have TikTok, if you want to go get a vegetable chopper, or if you already have one, you can use my TikTok if you need one, but I definitely recommend using a vegetable chopper because it makes it so much easier. You just kind of roughly chop up your veg like that. If there's any like extra white bits in the middle, just go ahead, slice those off. And then when it comes to the actual vegetable chopper, let me bring it into the shot like that. You're just going to open it up. You need to chop your stuff a little bit smaller, so a piece like that is going to be perfect. And we're just going to pop that in there. And you're going to have to give it a bit of welly, but just put that down, give it a little hammer, like that, and it's gone. So let me do that for the rest of the pepper, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all chopped up in there. Right, so that's the main bit of the pepper chop, but don't waste any. Take the stalk off like that. You're going to get that nice bit of pepper there in the middle. I'm just going to cut that in half, and then I'm going to put that in the chopper as well. I'm going to get that nice and diced. And yeah, you do have to hit it with a bit of force, but trust me, it does make things a lot easier. And then we just got the bottom bit as well. It's got a little bit of a stump on it, so I'm going to chop that off. And then, yeah, I mean, that's big enough to just chop on its own. So there we go. So if I open this up now, just open that up and show you guys inside. It's nice and diced. So we're going to turn it around. I'm going to do the same thing for the onion. And then I always try to put the onion in first when I'm cooking, but I always get a bit of pepper just find its way in there. So it's not like, you know, you don't need to do it in a certain order, but when you are cooking, it is normally good to do the onion first. So I'm going to chop the onion in half. I've got like, not a full onion, but just over half. I'd use probably a whole onion if I was, if there was one there, but just because this one was like nearly full, I just decided to use that. We're going to chop this onion into like quarters. Going to have pieces of onion like that size. Put them in the vegetable chopper. Again, these are going to take a little bit more punching power, but you can still chop them just like that. There we go. It's a little bit of fun. If you guys have got any pent anger, you want to like unleash, get yourself a vegetable chopper and just start smacking it. It's great fun, guys. There we go. Right, onions chopped. You might get a little bit stuck in the chopper, but just leave it as it is. And there we have your nicely diced onion and pepper. I'm going to boil the kettle for the pasta and weigh it out, and then we're going to start cooking the pasta and we're going to start cooking the sauce. Right, I'm coming back at you with some amazing camera angles. Let's get the kettle back on. I'm going to do 100 grams of pasta per portion. We're eating good, so I'm going to put 300 grams of pasta into my bowl, and then that's going to go into that pan. You can kind of see like the end of the pan right there, the handle. It's going to go in there, so let's get that weighed out. Right, so there's 310 grams of pasta in this whole thing. I'm not going to leave 10 grams of pasta. You guys don't have to be absolutely perfect with your weigh-ins. Just as long as they're like close enough, you should be fine. And now the kettle's boiled, so we're just going to come over, pour that into the pan, get that on a high heat with a bit of salt, and then once it's up to the boiling point, we're going to put the pasta in for about 12 minutes. There we go. Probably want to use like one full lot of your kettle, should be enough, especially if you're making this for like multiple days. You do need quite a lot of water. So there we go, we're going to let that boil, and of course we can't forget it, going to get some sea salt in there. I prefer the cracked salt rather than the table salt. I don't know if there's any science behind it, but I believe this is a little bit better for you, like sea salt over table salt. I'm pretty sure it's better for you, so I'd recommend getting sea salt over your normal table salt, because there's just something about it, you know. Just crush that in. Be generous, guys. You'll need more than you think. Remember, you're going to be making like 3 to 4 portions here. So if you do like 8 cracks of that and you're making 4 portions, there's only going to be 2 cracks in each of the portions. So always do a little bit more than you think. That would be my advice. Right, I know this ain't an amazing camera angle. I'm doing my best. All right, we're going to get some oil in here. We're going to get it up to heat, and then we're going to put some onion and some garlic in here. Again, be generous with your oil. You know, you're going to be making, Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to like get down on my knees just to talk to you guys here. I'm not the best with my camera work, guys, I do apologise, but be generous with the oil. I use 20 sprays. Again, even if you're making 3 portions, that's like, what, 7 sprays per portion. So don't think of it like you would in like a single meal. Obviously 20 sprays in 1 meal would be a little, like quite a lot, but remember, 3 to 4 portions of this stuff, it's not going to be as much as you think. Right, so from this camera angle, I can't really show you, but the pasta water has started to bubble. That's what we want. So now that it's bubbling, I'm going to pour the pasta in. At least you guys can see the pasta. Then we're going to cook that for 12 minutes. The chicken's still got 14 minutes left, so we're making good time. Alright, then get yourself a wooden spoon, stir the pasta as soon as it goes in, and then just every few minutes, just give it a little stir. There we go. And if you've had this on now for like a minute or so, you should be able to feel there's a bit of heat coming out of the pan. We're going to get some onions and some garlic in, and we're going to cook those off. I'm going to use a wooden spatula. Never use anything metal on something like this. You're going to scrape the pan, you're going to cause some damage to it. So either use wood or use a bit of plastic. That might be a little bit better. You can maybe use like a plastic thing like this as well, because that's not going to affect the pan. That might be a little bit better. But the wooden spoon's going to be fine. So onions going in. I might get like a little bit of pepper in this by accident, but even if you do, it don't matter. Like, I get burnt myself. There we go. So got most of that in. Gonna get a couple of teaspoons of garlic in as well. There we go. I've got this very lazy garlic. It makes things so easy. You don't have to chop any garlic. It's just pre-chopped. All you do, just lob it in the pan, and that's it. Done. So I mean, there's like a couple of peppers in here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk over this bit. It's going to get quite loud. But I want this to be like really authentic anyway. It's probably going to look terrible like editing wise, but I just want you guys to be able to cook with me, you know. So give these a little minute or two just to cook through. As I said before, there's a few peppers in there, but as long as you've got like most of the onion in, it should be fine. Just cook these down a bit and let them go. Right guys, I want you to treat yourselves, alright? I'm back down here on the floor. Get yourself a Pepsi Max Lime. I'm not sponsored, no one thought I was, but I'm not sponsored. Just get yourself a Pepsi Max, treat yourself, there's no calories in it. It's always nice to have a little drink while you're cooking. And what you're going to do is you're just going to pour the can of Pepsi Max into, I'm joking guys, don't do that, don't ruin your meal. Just drink it on the side. You guys, if you actually thought I was going to put Pepsi Max in there, come on. You know what I mean? Come on guys. I'm not going to do that. Right, that's been cooking for a little bit now. Let's get the pepper in. There's like a couple of slices of onion in. Look, I'm an authentic cook, alright? I never said I was good, but I know how to make food, so hopefully, you know, you guys will relate to me. You might not be the best cook either, but we're all just learning. We're all just trying to make new recipes and experiment. You know, cooking should be fun. Let me come down here to tell you guys this. Cooking should be fun, you know? Let me give it a little stir. It should be an enjoyable thing. You shouldn't be dreading cooking your meals. Experiment with different spices and herbs and vegetables and meats and see what you like. You know, hopefully you can learn a couple of things from me, especially if you're brand new to cooking. But just have fun with it, man. And what you're going to find as well, what some of these other chefs on TikTok and stuff never tell you, is you might start to get a little bit of burning going on in your pan. What I found, this is a bit unorthodox, I don't really see many people do this, but you may have seen me get the ingredient out earlier. To kind of stop this from happening, or to just like pick up any of the burning bits, get yourself some Worcestershire sauce. I got there in the end, you know what I mean? It's a hard thing to say. Get yourself some Worcestershire sauce. some Worcestershire sauce. Just put a decent amount in there. Don't be scared. A few pumps worth of that. Get that in. What that's going to do is it's going to provide a bit of moisture early on. Just, you know, kind of swish it around the pan so that you can get any of the burning bits. It's not like, you know, we're not using it like white wine vinegar just to get rid of the stuff on the pan. It's actually got a nice taste to it, and it's going to improve your pasta sauce. So give it a chance, guys. We've cooked down the peppers now as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bit of spinach in there. I'm going to put the herbs in, and then we're going to go in for the actual saucy base. Don't forget, guys, give your pasta a quick stir as well. There we go. Make sure it's not sticking to the bottom, and that's all done. Right, let's get some seasoning in there. We're going to go with a bit more salt. Don't worry, I've got some more interesting stuff coming for you in a second. We're going to get a bit more salt, bit of pepper. Oh, you know, now we're getting interesting, guys. Got a bit of pepper in there. Jeez, there we go. Get that pepper in. Again, just experiment, just have fun with it. Got some Italian herb seasoning. I'm going to go with a little dash of that. There we go. You know, you're going to like sort of lightly coat it. Lightly coat the stuff that you've got in the pan. And then we're going to go for some paprika. And then you know what? I'm going to change camera angle after this. You guys know what the pan looks like. And I don't want this video to get boring. So, a bit of paprika in there. And then just give that a little stir, guys. Give it a little stir around. You should still have some liquid in there from the Worcestershire sauce. If you don't, you probably didn't put enough in. You don't need to have loads of liquid, but it shouldn't be sticking that much to the pan. So you should still be fine for the time being. Right, I know you guys missed me. We're back. I'm back on the camera. It's time to get some sauciness in this pan. The pasta has an amount of time left. I want to say like 4 minutes. See, now I'm wondering, when did I actually put it in? I swear I put it in at 10:02. So it's got about 2 minutes left. The pasta's cooking. The chicken has about 5 minutes left, which is why it's now time to go with the sauce and the spinach. In terms of the spinach, always put in more than you think, because it's going to wilt down and it's going to go to not even like half the size that it is. I only use like half a bag of spinach. It's going to look ridiculous to start with, but trust in the process. It will wilt, it will cook down, and you'll be alright, guys. I nearly got some spinach in my Pepsi Max can as well. We don't want that. So we're just going to give that a minute or two to cook down. We just want it to cook down a little bit, and it should wilt with the help of the hot stuff that's in the pan at the moment. And you're going to probably start to notice that there's a little bit of burning going on. Nothing major, it's absolutely fine, and that will go when you put the sauce in. Which is what I'm going to do in a second. I just wanted to wilt this down like a little bit first. And now we're going to go in with some tomatoes. So, I've got a pack of this tomato passata. You can get yourself like a bottle of passata. I just find that passata is really good. It's very low in calories, it still tastes nice, and because you're seasoning your food anyway, you don't really need to worry about getting some really nicely seasoned, flavourable dolmio sauce or anything like that. Just get yourself a nice bottle of passata, and we're making the flavour on our own. So get it open like that, get yourself a little pouring tube, pour that in there, and I mean, you can already see like the spinach. I know you've not got the best angle right now, but the spinach is like wilted down completely to not even half the size that it was before. And that passata tastes, you know, it tastes absolutely fine. You don't need to get any like fancy dolmio sauces really. We're going to be putting some cream cheese in there too, so don't worry guys, it's going to taste good, promise you. So the spinach is now all wilted down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this to the boil, this sauce. I'm going to start getting it like nice and bubbly, and then we're going to add some cream cheese in there. So we're going to be making a creamy barbecue chicken pasta. I mean, you guys have seen the title, you know what we're cooking, but it's going to be absolutely delicious. So I'll leave that going. Oh, I forgot one thing. To thicken it up and to make it taste nice, trust me guys, this is a good step. You want to use this tomato paste, no, tomato puree, same thing really. Put some of that in, a few blobs, be generous with it. I normally go with like 5 squeezes of the stuff, I find that that's about enough. Gives it like an extra rich tomatoey taste. I can't even speak, I'm saying witch instead of rich. I can't pronounce my R's and W's, guys. You're learning something new about me. I may be an amazing chef, but I can't speak. That's looking good now. Our pasta is looking like it's about done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to drain that. So we're going to make a space for it in the sink. And everything's going to sort of happen at once now. So for those of you that don't know, I'm lactose intolerant. So I'm going to be using some lactose-free soft cheese or cream cheese. It's the same thing. You see soft cheese, you've got the right thing. So there's 200 grams in here. I'm going to use half of it. So that's 100 grams. And guess what? I'm a bodybuilder and I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to go in. Just get a knife, chop about halfway through the packet and then just stick half of it in. But we're going to do that in 1 second. It is starting to bubble now, so it's ready for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a spoon. Now, this is not something that I came up with. This is just something that everyone seems to do for some reason. But I'm going to go in here like this, get a nice spoonful of pasta water, and I'm going to put that into the mix like that. I have no idea why people do this, but apparently it's just a done thing. So, you know, I'll put my faith in the people. And now, get a knife like this. We're going to turn our pasta off so it don't cook anymore. We're going to get half of our cream cheese, about 100 grams. If you guys don't have a packet like this where you can like quite easily determine how much is in there, weigh it out beforehand. Maybe I should have done that, but you know what? I haven't. And like I said before, you know, I'm an orthodox. I don't do things by the book. I just sort of, I cook and I do things on the fly, but typically, you know, most of the stuff that I'm using, it's at least out and ready to be put into the dish, you know. So that's like half of the cream cheese. Right guys, so I need to get myself a camera or something because my phone ran out of storage, but what I've done, all I've done is drain the pasta, put it in, give this pasta a stir, and I've got the chicken out. Make sure when you stir in the pasta that you get under like that and you flip it. That's what you want to do. So when you first put the pasta in, it's all going to be on the top. What you want to do is combine the stuff that's on the bottom with the stuff that's on the top. So, you know, give it like a normal mix around like that, but make sure you keep getting under and turning like that. And as you can see, it looks absolutely lovely. Right, so now what I need to do is just make sure that the thighs are cooked through. So what I'm going to do, get a knife and fork like that, obviously a sharp knife, pick a couple of the largest chicken thighs, chop them in half, and then just see in the middle, are they done? You might have like a little bit of like brownie stuff in there, but they should be fine. Alright, they're looking good. What I'm going to do now is chop them up nice and small into nice chicken bite-sized pieces, and then we're going to finish it off in the pan. Right, so of course, make sure your pan is on a low heat while you're chopping that chicken so that it doesn't stick to the pan or the sides or anything like that. But that's looking good. It's looking like it's ready to receive the chicken. Make sure your chicken is nice and chopped up like this in small pieces. Just chop it loosely, chop it as quick as you can, and we're actually going to pour it all into the pan, including the juices, because we've trapped the oil, you know, we've trapped the chicken thighs as they are, so get the juices in there, and it's going to make it extra tasty. Right, I'm back again with this angle. This chicken tray is probably going to be quite hot, so make sure you use an oven glove or something. And what you're going to do, just pick it up like that, tip it all into the mix. Just be careful, make sure it doesn't slide out everywhere. Tip it in slowly, get all of that chicken into the pan, like so, with all of the juices. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to turn up the heat again. Watch my oven glove, turn it up, and then I'm going to get this all mixed, bring it back to the boil, so it should cook out any of the chicken thighs that are left to cook. I mean, they should be cooked, but if you're thinking, it's looking a little bit on the edge, like, is it cooked, is it not? This will certainly finish it off. So crank the heat back up, mix it all in, and then we should be looking good. And again, remember what I said before, you know, we've got a lot of stuff on the top, and we need to mix it with the bottom. Get your spatula underneath, and flip. That's the technique, guys. Underneath, flip. Come around the back here, underneath, flip, underneath, flip. And as you can see, we're bringing more of the pasta to the top, getting that chicken down towards the bottom, and then just cook that back up again, cook it back up to heat, make sure it's all nice and mixed in, and you've got yourself a beautiful meal prep lunch. Alright, so I've skipped forward a little bit. As I said before, I've got like a space issue on my phone. I apologise for that. I know I was supposed to make it authentic, like you're cooking along with me, but I haven't done much. The pasta is now complete. It's looking absolutely lovely. It's nice and creamy and tomatoey. Got all of the chicken in there. But basically, just while you wait for it to get back up to the boil, just tidy up the stuff around you. As you can see, I've got a couple of things still out, but I have tidied up the rest. We do need to put this tomato paste or tomato puree back in the cupboard. But yeah, just pop your stuff back in the cupboard. Get yourself nice and tidy. And then get yourself out some Tupperware containers. I'm going to eat some of this right now because I made it over my lunch break. So I'm going to eat some of it now. But get out as many tubs as you need. And then just put the pasta into the tubs. It's very simple. You don't need me to show you this. But I'm going to show you what it looks like in the tubs, people. And there it is. We have ourselves 3, at the very least, healthy portions of pasta. You've got a lot there. It's going to keep you full. However, if the calories and the macros are a little bit too high for you, you can reduce the amount of pasta you're using. You could use chicken breast over chicken thighs to save on the calories there. You could split it out into 4 portions instead of 3, or even 5 portions instead of 4. Make it work for you and your diet. But speaking of the calories and macros, I'm going to move to the side and I'm going to put the calories and macros on your screen for you right there. It's a nice high protein meal. We're using a lot of whole foods, a lot of good foods, you know, chicken breast, pasta, spinach, onions, peppers. We've got a nice range of nutrients. It's a nice high protein meal that's going to keep you full. One thing you can add if you want is a bit of extra cheese on the top. This is optional, it's totally up to you. But that is the meal. That is a delicious barbecue chicken creamy pasta. You guys know I had to put some cheese on it. I know again this isn't the best angle, but at least you guys can see the meal itself. I'm going to get a nice bit of chicken, pasta, spinach, all of that onto my fork and give you guys a live taste test. Here we go. It's so nice, guys, honestly. It's the type of meal that you just want to sit there and chew. As someone that doesn't chew their food very well, it's, oh mate, I can't even explain to you how nice it is. You guys are going to have to try it and find out for yourselves. I'm going to eat the rest of this now. I'm done talking with you lot. I hope you enjoyed the meal. Make sure you leave a like on this video if you enjoyed watching me cook and if you cooked along too. And let me know how this tastes in the comments, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves.